Hi students, as you know, these days in a series of videos, I am covering a very important topic for students who are about to take admissions in an MBA college or who are going into the second year. So the question is, which specialization is best for placements? I have covered marketing and finance specializations, and today I'll be telling you about HR specialization for placements. So let me first tell you, what does HR specialization mean? What does an MBA in HR do? Because I have seen many students who are doing MBA, but they are still confused and they still feel that HR means hiring. The HR manager or the HR person has to do hiring. So that's not true. HR has a much wider ambit. There are things like compensations and benefits, learning and development, skill development, and talent acquisition is just a part of the HR job profile. So now that you know that HR has a wider ambit, let me tell you the skills which are required to be a successful HR professional. The first and the most important skill that you require to be a successful HR professional is you should be a people's person. You should have that empathy towards people. You should be able to relate with people because HR is a lot about motivating your human resource so that they give their best to the company. So you have necessarily be able to make those bonds and get the best out of the people and address their queries and their concerns if they have any in the organization. The second most important thing, and that is you have to be a very good salesperson. Are you surprised? I mean, what has sales got to do with HR? Why should an HR person be a good salesperson? See, basically, you as a HR professional, you may not be marketing your company's products, but you are selling your company itself to someone. You should have your pitch. The candidate, you are the first point of connect to the candidate. So you should be able to tell what the company does and why the candidate should join you. And once he or she joins, then why he or she should stay for a long period with you. So those are qualities which are required. You need to be a strategic thinker. See, you will have to plan your manpower resources much ahead of time. So you need to understand, coordinate with various departments and understand what the manpower requirement could be in future and accordingly start the headhunting and the talent acquisition process. So all this requires strategy and not just acquiring talent but also retaining them, and you also have to strategize how to have a good attrition in the organization. So all those things are about strategic thinking which you would need to have as a HR professional. Last but not the least, you need to have very good interpersonal skills. See, you have to coordinate, as I was telling you, within the organization, you have to coordinate with so many people, not just the candidates. You have to coordinate with the accounts team for the payroll. You have to coordinate for the uh, for various departments for their requirements and so on. So basically, an HR is the person who is coordinating with literally every department of the organization. So you need to have very good interpersonal skills. Then only you should take up HR as a specialization. Let me now talk about the remuneration which is offered in an HR profile. Now, I think many of you would have heard that HR is not the best paid role. And this was partly true, some times ago, but I think now organizations are realizing that since the function of HR is directly related to the performance of the employees, it is a very momentous function. And that's the reason remuneration for good HR people is matching the remuneration for other people like those who are in sales and finance. Now, let's look at some cons of an HR specialization or of an HR profession. See, the first thing is you have to get this thing or get this point that HR is a support function. So basically, in some organizations, since it is a support function, in some organizations it is viewed as a cost center. So my advice to you guys is that when you take up a job in HR, just try to get some due diligence on how much the management values HR. So that is some extra work that you need to do if you are an HR professional. Then one thing more you have to understand is the HR role may sometimes be a thankless role, an unappreciative role. The reason is, see, basically, if even if you do very good work as an HR professional, the results will show up much later. It's something which is intangible, and HR people mostly work behind the scenes. So for this reason, you may feel or you have to overcome the fact that you are not as recognized as other functions. So students, today I try to tell you what are the bright points of an MBA in HR and what are the not so bright points and what are the skills required for an HR professional. Hope this information was useful. Similarly, I'll cover other specializations so that you can make an informed decision on which specialization to choose that would be the best for you for placements. So subscribe and keep watching.